The NBA is horrified that this is happening as the Los Angeles Lakers just pulled off another huge trade, trading for the center of their future. And who they gave up is very surprising. We're going to break down this trade and discuss what it means going forward as we now know who the Lakers have at their starting center spot for not only this year, but for years to come to pair with Luka Doncic and LeBron James. We're going to break that down in this episode. But folks, before we get into it, if you're a part of the 86% who aren't subscribed to the channel, it's the place to be for daily Lakers content. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you want to help us towards that goal, make sure to hit that button. Hunter, we've been making videos all along about these trades. I'm changing your name tag on the fly. It's Hunter here. We're making videos about all these trades surrounding centers, right? And now we find, you had a video just an hour ago about Day'Ron Sharpe, which is still in the cards, I do believe. But the Lakers just made an absolutely massive trade. And it's not only a huge trade, no one saw this coming at all. The Lakers have traded Dalton, Knecht, Cam Reddish, a 2031 unprotected first, and a 2030 pick swap to the Charlotte Hornets for Mark Williams. And if you're unfamiliar with Mark Williams' game, he is an absolute beast. We'll get into his stats. We'll get into his fit. Hunter, the Lakers have found their franchise center for the future. And I mean, quite frankly, yeah, it sucks to give up Dalton Knecht in the first round pick. I am absolutely thrilled with what Rob Pelinka has done regarding this center spot. There was no free agents available as good as Mark Williams. And man, oh man, is this a crazy trade.
Mark Williams, guys, is the perfect type of center that Luka Doncic has thrived with. If you look at the Dallas Mavericks and what they had in Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, Mark Williams is that type of center. He's a legitimate 7 feet. He might even be 7'1", pushing 7'2". He's extremely tall, very mobile, a great rim protector, a great lob finisher, and someone who's really agile on his feet that can switch onto smaller players, which is something that JJ Redick wants to do in his type of defense, is big men that can switch. Rob Pelinka, he described the type of big men that he wants, Nick, and that is exactly what Mark Williams is. And he said the center market was dry. That must have been GM speak, because he kind of knew what he was doing when Mark Williams became available. And this is now two players to various extents that did not seem like they were available even a week ago, that he has just brought in and has extremely elevated the roster. And Mark Williams is also in his early 20s, and he's still on a rookie contract. So this is someone that the Lakers can have for a very long time to be the future center next to Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the crazier trades that not only, I mean, again, the Luka Doncic trade was the craziest. There's no doubt about that. This isn't even on the same level. When you're talking about trades that no one's not coming, we were covering every target, whether it be Nick Claxton, which now seems off the board, Day'Ron Sharpe, Walker Kessler originally, Miles Turner originally. It's at the point now where this team is so good. I mean, their starting lineup is so good. And to give some more insight onto, we'll get into his stats and things like that. Again, it's an unprotected first-round pick going their way. And Shams goes on to say that the Lakers are trading for a rising 7'2" center, giving the franchise a starting center in Williams who fits the profile of athleticism and verticality that has flourished with Luka Doncic. Hornets land a rookie and Knecht they are excited about in draft capital. Now, let's talk about Mark Williams a little bit. We'll also dive into, of course, Dalton Knecht a little bit here. Hunter, he is an absolute beast. I mean, in 25 minutes a game, he's averaging 16 and 10. He is a great rim protector. We talked about what Rob Pelinka wanted in the center. He wanted a versatile center who could play great defense, who could be athletic. He is big. He is athletic. He's a great rebounder. He's a great, not scorer necessarily in the post or anything like that, but a perfect pick and roll player for Luka Doncic. I mean, he's going to come to this Lakers team and start every single game. I suspect that 25 minutes per game with the Hornets is probably going to go up with the Lakers, given their lack of center depth, depending on what moves they make. We still have about, 12 or so, 12 to 15 hours till the deadline. He is so good. You look at the stats, and this is all in limited minutes. He's yet to really have a full starting spot where he's played 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm very curious to see what he can do, and assuming at least an increased, playing time here for Mark Williams.
And that's a thing, Nick, is that the one thing is concerned, if you can see in this graphic here, guys, he's
Injuries.
missed a lot of time due to injuries. And that is what makes this trade a little bit risky. You give up an unprotected first-round pick, and who knows, maybe that ends up being the 30th pick in the draft or the 20-something, late 20s in the draft, because with Luka Doncic, your ceiling and window all of a sudden gets extremely larger. And on top of that, too, Dalton Knecht, I know he had a bit of an up and down season, but for the most part, has been pretty impressive for the Lakers, has cracked the rotation on a playoff team that is, floating between the 4th, 5th seed in the West right now, and is an elite shooter as well. So Charlotte is definitely getting a very fair return, but for what Mark Williams brings to the table, the Lakers do not have this. They have shooters on this roster, and I think adding one of the best shooters in the NBA and Luka Doncic does make this trade easier. And the fact that, again, they still keep Austin Reaves, they still keep Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt's still on the team. Obviously, they had Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, this only helps the Lakers get better, and they fill an immediate need here and have their legitimate starting center for the coming years. That is the goal with getting a guy like Mark Williams.
Yeah, the first round pick is gone, but I don't think that they're necessarily done. But talking about an A-plus trade deadline, I mean, it was already an A-plus trade deadline. To get the perfect center, I mean, we were talking about guys, I mean, Nick Claxton in particular, that would be a good fit for Luka going forward. I mean, Mark Williams was one of the most coveted young centers around the league when you're talking about guys. And for the Charlotte Hornets, it does make some sense. Now, they're getting back Dalton Knecht, who had a really hot start to his NBA career, has tailed off a little bit. There were some talks about getting him some time with the G League team with the Lakers to get, of course, his three-point shot back. Now, the bench is looking a little bit interesting surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers now. They still have Jared Vanderbilt. You obviously have Gabe Vincent, Shake Milton. You need to, I think now at this point, there's still some room for additions to be made. And after this trade, Hunter, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up moving off of some more crazy guys, whether that be an Austin Reaves, whether that be somebody else, because at the moment, their starting lineup looks fantastic. You'd have to assume the starting lineup would be Luka, Austin Reaves, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and Mark Williams, which is an unbelievable starting lineup. And let's not forget, you still have Rui Hachimura at this moment on the team who can shift to the bench role. So you got Rui off the bench. I still expect more moves to come. Maybe not the huge moves, because this is as big as a move you could have thought. But Rui on the bench, I mean, it's looking not bad.
Here's a very underrated part of this trade, Nick, is that the Lakers gave up 2 players in exchange for 1, which opens up a roster spot. The Lakers are a first apron salary cap team, so they can sign a player that isn't making the mid-level exception this year, which is around $12 million. So if a player gets bought out by a team, and we'll see who that is, because that's going to be like the post-trade deadline is the buyout market. Can they get somebody on the buyout market who could be a good player that can fill perhaps a backup center role, or maybe like an extra guard or wing that they can use off the bench as well? But even despite that, if they don't get that, Nick, they have Rui Hachimura, Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, who's playing much better for them. And now you feel much more confident in Jackson Hayes being your second big man compared to being forced as your starting big man. I think this is a fantastic trade. It sucks losing a young player like Dalton Knecht, but to get a young player who's also the same age as Dalton Knecht and Mark Williams, who fills an immediate need, I think this is a huge win for the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I'm not going to call it necessarily. It's a robbery to me. I mean, yes, of course, the Hornets are great. I think I say it's a robbery for the reason that I want to thank the Mavericks for allowing the Lakers to keep their first round pick that they then used to flip for Mark Williams, because now you're talking about a trade deadline where the Lakers got Luka Doncic and Mark Williams, which is something that if you told me that a week ago, I think every single person on the face of this earth would say is crazy. But either way, the trade deadline is tomorrow. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. There are still avenues for the Lakers to make moves, whether that be, like you mentioned, the buyout market following the deadline, as well as they still have their second round pick. So keep an eye on that. Let us know all your thoughts on the trade. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.